So, what is a brag sheet and why do you need one? Well, first of all, you're going to be your best advocate. Your interview is going to showcase what you've done, but your brag sheet is going to show what you've done. Hi, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Tina Steve. I'm a job search strategist and I love helping people with tips for their personal and their career development. My background actually includes managing, training, and project management. I've interviewed hundreds of people and I've consulted with people on how to take their career to that next level. So you can use a brag sheet in several ways. Some ways you may not have even thought about. So when you're doing that performance evaluation with your boss, you need to hand them your brag sheet and it showcases what you've worked on. Sometimes you might want to negotiate your salary. Well, nothing better than being able to say, here, look at all the things that I've accomplished. Also, you can use it for a career advancement. And one of the things that you may not think about is that self-reflection is always beneficial, to look back and to be able to celebrate your wins. So today what I really want to focus on is career advancement. So a brag sheet is going to help you to keep track of the work you've done. Believe me, it's not easy to think back to, oh, what did I do 6 months ago? So this is going to help you keep track of it and the details. Take advantage of that time you spend with your boss for your performance evaluation. Show them your brag sheet. Let them give you some feedback that'll help you fine tune it. This also allows your boss to be able to understand what you've worked on, and then they can be an advocate for you. Now this one is one you may have never thought about, but it'll help you with that manager turnover. Think about, what if during the middle of the year you lose your boss, you get a new one, and you feel like, they don't know anything about me, I'm starting all over. Well, guess what? If you hand them that brag sheet, they're caught up. One of the things I love about a brag sheet is that when you're interviewing, you're really held hostage to the questions that you're asked, and you're trying to answer those. But you make it to the end of the interview, and you feel like, they didn't really learn what I wanted them to learn about me. They don't know all the good stuff about me. Well, guess what? You can hand them a brag sheet, or you can email them a brag sheet. Think of it as a mini resume. So what should you include in the brag sheet? What should the content be? So think about, the brag sheet is about two things potentially. It's what have you done and what was the impact. Your brag sheet is going to allow you to focus on the bigger picture. Let's say you've created some new products or features and you've delivered those, so you want to highlight those. You can definitely use a brag sheet to do that. If you've taken the time to join an employee research group, that means that you've actually taken time outside of your daily job to participate in that. And that gives you a lot of really good things that you can showcase. So you want to share those things. It also connects you to the company's culture, which is also a good thing. Now you may belong to an association. We'll highlight that, but only if it has some relevance to the job that you're applying for. If you belong to a fraternity and that has nothing to do with the job, you might not want to showcase that. Let's say you work really hard to get a certificate in an area and you want to showcase that. You can use that. But again, it really needs to tie into the job that you're applying for. You may be real proud of it, but it may not have any relevance to the hiring manager. And then if you've been a mentor, this is really key. This is really something you can brag about. Think about if you've helped another person in their career. Maybe you helped them reach a goal. Maybe you've helped them with their career advancement, so you can showcase that. So what should you focus on? Definitely, if you've done some project work, you want to include the name of the project and a short description of it. Be sure it's concise. Do not include a long narrative. Remember that a brag sheet is supposed to be one of those things that people can glance at and learn a lot about you quickly. If you've created something new, you've worked on a process improvement, or you want to include those project details, take care of those. Like I said, I want to encourage you, just be careful about the length of it and the amount of detail that you include. Now, the most important part is going to be impact. You always want to showcase not just what you did, but what was the result of that. So if you've got any type of measurements, always use those. If you've got KPIs, do you have maybe survey results? If you've got survey results, you don't want to really include all of those, but create some type of summary. Maybe even bullet items 2 or 3 things that you want to highlight about that. Those are the things you want to definitely include in your brag sheet. Now, as far as the format and the length, it's totally up to you. Use what you're comfortable with. Some people will use Word, some people may use a PowerPoint. You can get creative with it. Again, you want to make sure it's not very long. If you're using PowerPoint, for example, you're going to have a landing page, maybe add a couple pages to that. I would never recommend that your brag sheet is longer than 3 pages. And then you want to include, you want to figure out how creative do you want to get with it. You can remain generic with it, or you can include a photo if you want to. You can include your favorite quote. Now, depending on the job, sometimes it's really important. Maybe people are really interested in your personal life or social media, if it really is relevant to the job, and you want to include some photos at the end that share that type of information, go ahead and do that, but make sure it's appropriate for the role that you're applying for. So you may be thinking, but no, there's more I want to showcase. There are some jobs that you can apply for where it's really important that you show someone what you produced. It could be a link to something, it could be a document, and you really do want to include that. And I would say that's fine, but it really needs to be something that's important and really applies to that role. And this really should be the exception. It should not be the norm. So just be sure to consider that. So as far as how often should you update it, I would certainly say it's up to you, but I would recommend at least quarterly. Remember, you're trying to think of the most recent things that you've worked on. You want to document those. Feel free to go back to it, add something new. You may want to replace something old that you think, oh, this is a better example. I want to add the new item. Just keep everything in a repository somewhere that's convenient for you to get to. So the bottom line, just to wrap up, the wins with this are it's going to help you to keep track of all the details of things that you've worked on. It's also going to assist your manager in being able to be an advocate for you. The person that's hiring you may actually want to talk to your manager about your performance, and wouldn't it be nice if they have that brag sheet there that they can refer to, because they certainly aren't going to remember all those details. Having a brag sheet always gives you that awareness of where you are with your performance. Having a brag sheet also gives you a chance to reflect on your career and think about what are some things that you want to do, where do I want to go from here? And then certainly, as we talked about with job advancement, you do want to use it when you're in the midst of a job search. So not a lot of people use brag sheets. I'd love to know if any of you have experienced that and if you found benefit in it. Be sure to like and subscribe, share this with others, and thank you very much for watching.